Please make sure you have your copy of the assignment, How Does Soap Work? We'll begin by looking at a demonstration of the procedures. So please turn to the back of the first page and we'll look at the procedures together. First, most important, wear your goggles at all times today during this experiment because we'll be working with hot boiling sodium hydroxide, which is Drano. And we don't want hot boiling Drano in your eye. Please keep your goggles on at all times. Okay, so the first step, you'll find a cup and a filter already in it, and there's a marker there. You can put your name on the cup. Set that aside for later. And there's a beaker for each student to make their own sample of soap. Into the beaker, we're going to put some olive oil, some ethanol, and some sodium hydroxide. There are some squeezy pipettes, and there's a line on the squeezy pipette to show you 1 milliliter. So when you measure the volume, make sure that you measure up to the line. 4 times for the olive oil, 4 times for the ethanol, and 2 times for the sodium hydroxide. And then we'll take a glass cover and put it on top, and also a weight to hold the glass cover on. And then we're going to put that on a hot plate on a medium setting. Let's take a look at that. Okay, I've got my beaker with the olive oil, the ethanol, and the sodium hydroxide heating up with a cover and a weight to keep the cover on. And while that's heating up, I also put on a flask to heat up some water. I'm going to need that later. You can use distilled or tap water. Tap water's fine. Our tap water's pretty good. So while this is heating up, you'll see that it's bubbling, that it's boiling. That's the ethanol. It has a low boiling temperature, so it boils very easily. And as it boils, it's going to evaporate and it's going to hit the top here, the glass cover, and it's going to cool and it's going to condense and drip back down. And it's going to cycle several times through as the ethanol eventually boils away. But now while that's happening, what's going to happen is the oil and the sodium hydroxide are going to begin reacting. Now while this is going on, it's possible for this to get really too hot and it can blow the top off the cover. So we want to make sure that we keep this well mixed and swirled and keep the cover on at all times. You can wear a glove to swirl it. Just keep an eye on this at all times, and we don't want it to overboil, so we don't want it to be on a high setting, kind of a medium setting. What you're looking for is for the mixture to get the consistency of mucus. It's going to take a little while. It's going to get bubbly and fizzy. I'll show you that in steps as it goes along. Okay, this has been boiling for a while, and you can see that it's starting to bubble up, and as it bubbles up, it's reaching the top of the beaker. We don't want that to come out of the beaker, so keep an eye on that and swirl it down. When you swirl it, that mixture will go back down to the bottom of the beaker. You'll start to see that it's getting thicker. You'll even smell the reaction. It smells kind of sweet, and you'll see the ethanol dripping down from the watch glass on top. Now, while that's happening, the sodium hydroxide is reacting with the olive oil. It's breaking the olive oil down into 3 fatty acids and glycerol. The glycerol is the slippery part of soap, and the fatty acids are the part that helps soap to bring together water and things that don't mix with water. So while this is heating up, keep swirling it. It'll eventually get much lighter. It'll almost turn white. Make sure to give this enough time to have a complete reaction. Okay, that's been heating up for quite a while now. It's turned into kind of a whitish goo. And what I'm going to do is take it and I'm going to melt it again using the hot water that I put in the hot plate. Fill up my beaker, about halfway or so. And then there's some wooden stir sticks that you can use to mix that down. We'll get this mixed up, and then what we're going to do is add some sodium chloride solution or table salt solution, and what that will do is help to separate the soap from the liquid part of this mixture so that we can filter it. So after I'm done mixing up that, I'm going to add some sodium chloride solution. When I do that, you'll see that it turns white. The white material that's in there, that's the soap that we're trying to get. So fill up your beaker and mix that up a little bit, and then I'll show you how to filter it. Okay, so the white stuff that's separated from my mixture I'm going to pour into the filter in my beaker and filter in my cup, not a beaker. And then I'm going to let that drain overnight and dry. Inside here will be the soap. The liquid that goes through we're going to discard. We'll let the soap dry, and then we'll test its properties tomorrow.